Germantown School District Building Committee at 6 p.m. Roll call. Borden. Here. Lowe. Here. Kinky. Here. And Pollack is here. Item number 3, agenda revisions and approval.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 4, approval of the minutes of the June 7th, 2021 building committee.
Make a motion to approve the 7th, 2021 minutes with one exception, that Tracy Cloud's last name is spelled E-K, it should be A-K.
Motion. Second.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5, reports and updates, Director of Buildings and Grounds, Fund 10 Projects and Facility Services. Fair.
Hello. Before you've got the report that was included in the packet, and I'll start off with the first item on it, Germantown High School abatement project that took place a few weeks back. The asbestos tile and pneumatic abatement work has been completed at Germantown High School. The pictures show the areas completed and in progress. Numerous cracks and broken tiles will be replaced. As you can see, the stairwells on the first floor, the tiles were removed and will be replaced with LVT tile. In the first picture, you see the containment ventilation taking place as they're doing the work. And then the other 2 lower pictures indicate some tiles that are being pulled out and abated so that they can be replaced as well. And those are all located on the first floor. The stairwell from the teacher's lounge, which also you'll see in the next page, has the containment section as well up at the time. Doors and the frames will be replaced on this stairwell as well. Magnetic hold opens are going to be installed with the new flooring. The Germantown Fire Department has approved the doors to swing into the stairwell. Presently, they both swing out of the stairwell. The reason for this change is that when they're open and held open with the mag hold opens, they'll be up against the wall. If they were to come open out into the hallway still, I would have one door that would be standing at a 90-degree angle to the wall. This would be a great target for students walking by, and I don't think it would solve the issue of the doors wearing out prematurely. So we got permission from the fire department, since this is not considered an exit, because there's a direct exit to the outside in this particular stairwell, to switch the direction the doors swing. Since we did the first couple stairwells, these doors have definitely shown that they're going to last much longer. Kids aren't jumping up on them to get out of the stairways. They're held open all the time. And since on the mag hold opens, they meet fire department regulations for closing if there's a fire in the place. The next page, you have pictures of the math and English hallways, which will have some repairs completed in as well. You can see the cracks that have formed over time from the building shifting and settling. Premier flooring is going to come in, fill up the cracks, put a rubber flooring over it, so hopefully that will allow a little bit more movement within the tile before the tile starts breaking up. These 2 particular wings are both hot and mastic and tile as well. The next pictures you'll see are the cabinets from the old dark room, along with the 9-inch tile which it still had in that space. It was removed per request from the teacher so the space can be used. The window in the space will also be uncovered, allowing more natural light into the space. The teacher plans on using this space for a studio for taking pictures in, since it's no longer needed as a dark room. Any questions so far? Next, the Germantown High School track resurface. Athletic field service has started the Germantown High School track resurfacing. The first crew came and removed the existing surface to allow the asphalt to weather before the second crew arrives. The second crew is due in about a week, and they will clean and prep the asphalt for the application of the new surface. The new surface is then sprayed on in 6 layers to make up the final surface, which will be 3/8 of an inch thick. The lanes and markers will then be painted, and weather permitting, the project is expected to be completed by the end of this month. Any questions?
Yes.
that asphalt that we're looking at?
Correct.
It kind of looks like gravel almost. Is it?
Well, they were still in the process of removing the surface, so they haven't done any cleanup on it at this point in time. There was actually, you can probably see the skid steers in the picture as they're going around scraping up the track surface.
Okay, so it really is asphalt under there. It's
Yes.
not a gravel surface.
Right, it's asphalt, and then they apply the new surface on top of the asphalt.
Okay, good.
Any other questions? Germantown High School LED lighting upgrade. Some LED lighting upgrades have occurred at Germantown High School by Energy Performance Lighting. Completed up all the second floor hallways. The next phase, to be completed next year, finishes the remaining viewing and the third floor hallways. After that point, then all the hallways at Germantown High School will be LED lighting. Any questions? Next on the report is the Germantown High School asphalt seal coating, crack fill, and striping. The Germantown High School asphalt seal coating, crack filling, and striping project has been rescheduled for the first week in August. Additional work is scheduled district-wide to be completed in July and early August, and this includes crack filling at all buildings, parking lots, and the drives. Any questions? Germantown High School pool deck. Plunkett Races Architects has requested a meeting with representatives from the school district, C.D. Smith, and Lippert Flooring and Tile on July 27th to discuss the pool deck tile issues. The district is requesting a plan to move forward getting the issue resolved. I last did a walkthrough about 2 weeks ago and noted additional tiles delaminating as well as additional grout still washing out. It would be nice to get this behind us and get it done and resolved. I'm not sure what their resolution is going to be until we have the meeting. Any questions? Germantown High School viewing heating system. Last month I reported that there was a leak in the heating system in the lower viewing at Germantown High School. That leak has been repaired. Germantown maintenance staff drained the system. The contractor came out, corrected the leak, made the repair, and then our staff refilled the system and got it back up and running. Germantown High School soccer field fencing. Century Fencing has provided a quote of $14,820 to repair the fencing around the Germantown High School. The quote includes repairing the gate area, as you can see pictured below, removing and resetting various posts in different locations around the field, and the bleacher area, and replacing railings. As you can see, the entrance to it, there's numerous posts that have lifted out of the soil quite a bit over time and need to be taken out, reset. Any questions?
Do you know, have any idea how long those were in that are way out today? And you know if the replacements will be installed any differently to and avoid it in the future?
Unfortunately, with fencing, post-lift, it's the nature of a fence. They will be reset in concrete. Some of them will be just driven into the ground. These would have been the original installs from when the soccer field was built, I believe in 2000 and, I'd like to say 2002 or 2008, somewhere in there. So we've gotten our use out of them.
Okay.
Any other questions? Amy Bell Masonry. Holton Brothers has started the Amy Bell Masonry restoration above the windows. I'm under the impression now they have completed the project and they were supposed to finish up caulking today. I will be out this week to inspect to see how the work took place and what kind of quality it is. Holton Brothers has done great work for us before, so I'm not really too worried about it, but I would like to still at least inspect it prior to signing off on it. The work involved removing 3 rows of the brick and adding loopholes to allow water to properly drain from inside the face brick. Any questions? The Amy Bell infiltration bed. The infiltration bed basin at Amy Bell is working, but the grass is not filled in as expected. Areas next to the parking lot have washed out from the rainwater runoff. Landscapes has been contacted to see what can be done. The district is presently irrigating the area trying to promote growth. Total Lawn Care applied weed and feed to all district fields after school let out for the summer. It's typical, we wait till school lets out just because of kids playing on the grass. We try not to do any pesticides or weed and feeds while school's in session. As you can see, the grass is extremely thin. I'm still waiting to hear back from Landscapes to see what they can do for us. It does sound that they're going to try to charge the district for doing any additional work out there. At this time, we have purchased some grass seed, and we will plan on aerating and top dressing and overseeding the district personnel. Landscapes can't do anything for us on it. At least get started that way. We are continuing to water as needed as well.
So just one question. You know, we had the soccer fields looked at a few years ago, as I recall, and they were able to take some samples and determine what the soil composition was to see how well the grass, you know, there was some issues with the soccer field. Is there a need to take these samples in this area? I mean, because just adding more grass seed water doesn't seem like it's really the fix in that area. Is it the soil or the composition of the soil? It's not allowing grass to grow in these areas?
I think a lot of it has to do with that, plus the weather we had right after they reseeded the last time. The weather hasn't been very cooperative on getting grass growing in that area. First time it was a flood, way too much water. This last time it was too dry. So I think if we stay on top of it and continue to water and get some top dressing on it. Top dressing is another layer of just good soil that will help the grass grow as well. We can take a water or a core sample. I'm not sure that we're gonna be able to do much about it at this point yet, due to having to fill in more dirt in this, and it's more important to keep this space working as a drainage basin than it is to have good thick grass at this point. I'd love to see good thick grass in it though, but we gotta make sure we're doing it the right way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Any other questions on the Amy Bell Basin?
Hey Don, how about salt from the parking lot? I think that was a key spot to plow snow last winter.
I think there's some salt damage, but from what I see of the washout, it's more from water running off of the actual parking lot towards that area that's washing it out than salt.
Okay.
At first I thought it was salt damage as well as plowing damage, but I don't see any real digging areas from where plow would have been pushing the dirt as much as I see washout.
Okay.
Any other questions on that? Good news on the Rockfield elevator. Rockfield elevator has been upgraded to meet all fire codes. The upgrade included the installation of a new door operator and control box with a shunt relay to automatically de-energize the equipment prior to the release of the sprinkler system. The state inspection was scheduled for today. We passed. They did quite an extensive test to make sure that everything functioned properly. We had to set off the smoke detectors on the first floor, we had to set one off on the second floor, we had to set one off in the control room, and we also had to set one off in the shaft. And in addition to that, we also had to test the shunt system to make sure that was functioning properly. The whole process took about an hour and a half for the test to be completed and for the state inspector to process. So that elevator is completely up to code. Questions?
The photo that you included, is this controller in an equipment room?
Yes, it is.
Okay, because I see the sun shining there, so the equipment room happens to have a window.
Actually, that's probably the light coming in from the custodial office, because it's actually within the custodial office on the first floor, there are no windows in the room.
Okay. And the shunt trip, if the elevator is in operation, does it, at the time the sprinkler goes off, does the elevator continue to its stop? Or does it stop
It'll continue its way down if it's in the middle of a motion, because you have to get the people out of it if there's anybody that happens to be in it.
Right. Okay. Usually a shunt trip on a breaker is fairly indiscriminate. You trigger it and it opens.
Correct. We probably can't see them very well in here. There is a battery backup on the controller, so that would, after it was shunt trimmed, it would probably then proceed to lower down to that floor and open the door.
Okay.
Any other questions? Kennedy Middle School. I don't know if you've noticed, I know I did early this spring, and this picture I took actually early this spring. Some of the repairs from last year in the concrete sidewalk area have failed. The contractor, J.R. Buffy, was contacted right away, and he will repair these areas under warranty. He had an employee that is no longer there that applied the wrong material on this cracks after we would repair it. So that's why it busted out after the first year. It was supposed to be an epoxy, and he used more or less like a concrete skim. So they failed right away. He does plan on getting it done as soon as summer school is over, but prior to school starting up again. Any questions? Next is the administration building controls upgrade. Below is a quote from Masters Building Solutions for $15,496 to complete phase 3 of 6 to convert the digital HVAC controls at the administration building from pneumatics. Master Building Solutions has phases 1 and 2 already completed. The building automation system, Trivium Niagara, has an open architecture, but the operating software is proprietary to Master Building Solutions. The work includes replacing 5 1991 VAB, variable air volume boxes, which have exceeded their life expectancy. This will be brought forward to finance for final approval. As you can see, what the phases include each phase, and when the first 2 phases were completed, and then 2018, and then 2020, the second phase was completed. Any questions, or?
Are you comfortable with the proprietary system?
Unfortunately, anybody's PAS systems are semi-proprietary. Tritium was one that I thought was, because it's an open architecture, I thought it wasn't proprietary. I found out that there are different Tritium software programs, and each one of the contractors uses their own. The nice thing is that if we decide that we don't want Masters Building Solutions anymore, we can go to one of those other contractors. They'll bring in a new head end, and then we can use their software. Builders has been, I've been working with builders now for years, and I'm very comfortable with them as a contractor. If you look at the price, we're getting 5 VAB boxes for $15,500, and that includes labor, removal of the old ones, the programming and everything else to do it. So I don't think that they're taking advantage of us because we're doing the phases through them.
Okay. And do we use them anywhere else in the system besides the phases listed here?
They are one of our contractors now. They do take care of a lot of Daikin air handlers. They are the Daikin rep. With the addition within the district, we have several Daikin units now throughout the buildings. One at Rockwood Elementary, the 2017 air rooftop unit is a Daikin. And then we have the big chiller here up on the field house, that's a Daikin unit. And there's several smaller air handlers in this building as well that are Daikin. So when it comes to any of the more complicated programming parts, especially on that chiller up on the rooftop, that is called them.
Okay.
Any other thoughts, questions on this subject?
Three phases to do one every year like you've been doing, and do you have estimated costs for those other 3 or no?
If you look at the other 3 phases, there are estimated costs there, but they would need to be updated when we go through the project. I had them quote this out as one project to start out with, but because it was, I believe, well over $60,000, that it was decided that we would do it in phases.
Okay, so it was initially brought to the board in 2018 or 19 with the plan of doing it over a 6-year period.
It was brought to the board, asking to do it in a 1-year shot, and we didn't have the money to do it, and then it was decided to do it in phases, correct?
Okay, so then the committee will see phase 4 and phase 5 for sure, because those are over the threshold, and possibly, depending on what the rate is, phase 6.
Correct. I would say that yes, these will all three be brought forward each year. And if I can afford to be able to do it in my budget quicker, we would get them done faster, just to save dollars. It makes more sense, because otherwise they're making additional trips coming out, they have to set up. It takes them a while to change out one of these VAV boxes. You gotta get into it, you gotta drop the old one out, you gotta put the new one in, and you gotta hook up all the controllers, you gotta run the wiring for it, and then you gotta program it. I will say that in the areas that we have already installed these in, we are having less heating and cooling issues in these areas.
Are you seeing they're working better than the train units we have?
Well, they are trained units that are being installed. They are trained VAV boxes that are being replaced.
Oh, okay.
So it's just that it's not trained controls, and that does make a difference, especially with the pneumatic controls. It is getting harder and harder to find people that know pneumatics anymore. Pneumatics is a dying art, so to put it. People don't need to learn it anymore. Everything's digital. Everybody's going to digital, and that's the big question.
So I just have a question. Would it be beneficial for us to look at phase 3, 4, 5, and 6 right now, get a quote for one bulb and see if we can do that?
I'm sure it would be.
So I was wondering, type kind of the same thing, that in 2019 or 18, whenever it was initially written, did you lock in the prices knowing that they were guaranteed to work over the 6 years, or no, they just locked in each individual year?
They gave me a quote so that we knew approximately what the budget for each year, because you can't predict labor costs, you can't predict the cost of materials. Right now, I believe that the reason we're seeing a $15,500 expense on this one is that materials have just gone up so much because of COVID right now. Lead time just to get a lot of materials is out of hand. You want a fire door, you're waiting 12 weeks to get a door just to get it to show up at your place. You don't want to get somebody in and then install it.
So are you maybe possibly saying that with the high price of materials recently, it would not be good to get a quote for the 4 years? Or it would be?
I think we should look into it. I think we should be cautious of it for that reason though. Just because if prices go back down and we're paying, let's just say we're paying $400 or $500 more for each VAV box, maybe in the next year it may drop. I don't see labor going down. It is possible that materials might. Does that make sense?
So we could get a quote and bring it back just for an informational piece of the committee.
Correct. Plus the advantage would be the getting in and getting it all done at a one-time shot. So that might have its advantage as well too, versus having to have somebody come in each year and do their work and then leave again and come back again.
Is the idea to have the work done this summer yet? So if we delay, it might be a problem.
It's the administration building. They don't shut down.
This particular go-around, I mean, these All these stages are not all in the administration building, are they?
Yes, this is all administration.
Oh, okay.
Phase one was getting the head-end system in, getting some upgrading the HVAC, or the air handler controls. And then we did the boardroom, 2 VAVs, and Brett's office got one. I believe Jane's office got one, and then the computer, or the switchgear room, the storage room off of the business office. This phase includes doing the business office, Brittany's office, and I believe the conference room off of the lobby. I think that's what you call it now. So the contractor was just making his way around the building, $80 at a time.
Okay, sounds good. So we don't have quite as much worry about school being in session.
Correct. Joe, it will cause a little disruption in the areas, obviously, when they're doing the work. They can't get it done in one day, though. So presently, right now, I believe Fridays, the district office is at minimum staff, but I know they can't get it done in one day. So it's going to cause a little bit of disruption in those offices while they're doing the work. Any other questions? Next, I have a Group Services France update. A team of employees from Group Services France USA is working on the school's floors. The team works together at each school and then proceeds on to the next. The highlighted maps shows the areas which have been completed or in the process of being completed. The new chemical stations have arrived along with a lot of new cleaning equipment, particularly the floor scrubbers. And this was last week. It's my understanding they are now still working away at different schools and making great progress. Any questions?
Is this our second shift crew that's doing this?
Would be the second shift people that are doing it. Presently, they still don't have the positions filled. That's why they brought a crew in from Chicago to start working, or Illinois, to start working on these floors to make sure that they can get propped up to the start of the school year.
Okay.
Okay, MacArthur Elementary Gaga pits. The MacArthur Gaga pits will be installed in August and will be ready for the start of the school year. The pits will be on a playground wood chips near the newly constructed shed. I believe that you guys are aware where that shed was. It's off of the playground on the north side of the building. The PTA will be assembling the pit and the maintenance department will prep the area. The area will be 26 by 52 feet in size to accommodate the 2 Gaga pits. It'll be dug out 6 inches with 6 inches of playground mulch installed as well. The work is intended to be completed on the week of August 17th right now. The maintenance staff will be looking at trying to get the area prepped next week. We'll bring our skid steer over. I have the wood chips on order, or we'll have the wood chips on site, so as soon as we dig it out, we put the wood chips in and it'll be ready for them when we want to assemble them. Questions? One of the things that we're still having issues with is we have roof leaks here in the PAC still. Last go around, it was at the last good rainstorm that we had. It's been discovered that a roof drain passing through the side of the building has still had issues with water coming and dripping up through it and into the insulation and dripping down. We do have buckets underneath it at this point to be able to catch it. The plumber was out to look at it and hopefully do the repairs this week. An additional leak is still occurring in the prop room area. Roofers will be coming out in the next day or so to see if there's anything that they can spot up there. At this time, I am likely to say it's going to end up being more of a wall issue than it is going to be a roof leak. Brian Oswani from CCG and myself have walked all the roofs this week, Monday. and we couldn't see anything that jumped out at us saying, okay, this is definitely where the leak's coming from, this needs to be fixed. There was nothing that was obvious that we could notice. Brian is thinking that if we can't, nobody can locate this, that we may end up having to contact the fire department and see if we can't get them to close down that wall and see if we can't determine where that water's getting in. It's got to be coming in somewhere. It can't hit, and it's very frustrating. We've been dealing with this since the PAC has been built. So C.D. Smith has been contacted as well. I'm going to contact C.D. Smith and see if they can get the wall company to come in as well and take a look and see if there's anything that they see that might jump out at them saying, hey, you know what, this needs to get corrected, that needs to be looked at, and proceed from there. During the inspection, though, I did note that there are a lot of the panels around the building that are getting a lot of staining again. I checked on it when I arrived today and noted that the majority of them are actually on the north and the east walls that you can really see the staining very well. One of them in particular is the wall that would be directly above the proscenium here. You can see a lot of staining on that wall. There's also some on the field house wall that indicate a lot of staining again. We're going to try to work with C.D. Smith and the roofers to determine what is causing the staining. And is it just dirt from the water running off or just blowing off the side of the building? And whether or not we're going to have to plan on power washing these panels every 2 to 3 years in order to keep them looking nice. Any questions?
Are these the metal panels you're talking about?
No, this is the precast panels.
Oh, okay.
So it's the light tan colored ones, and it's right at the roof line. You can actually see water stains coming down and rust spots. We did have, at our request, power wash right after the project was completed. It was felt that there was a lot of dirt and debris on the roof that was coming over the edges, and that's what caused the staining. But we're still continuing to see staining building up on it. One other thing I'm still working on is the Amy Bell gym floor. Previously reported at a building committee meeting, we had some bubbles that were forming underneath the rubber flooring at Amy Bell. The contractor that did the floor install has never seen this before. He is kind of perplexed to what the issue and the problem is. He has contacted the Mastic company as well to see what their thoughts are on it. They're thinking it might be something within the concrete that's coming up and basically affecting the mastic and not allowing it to release in certain areas. He did note that it is not because of water getting underneath it, because these are in the middle of the rubber floor, not at a seam like you would expect to see if water was actually getting underneath and going after the mastic. So he's still doing some investigating to see if he can't find some answers out to it. It's mostly noticed as the rubber expands and contracts with temperature changes. Any questions?
So I think some of the items that Don was talking about will continue to bring back to the committee just so you're aware of where we are in the process of some of the projects and not to think that they're resolved if we're not talking about them. So we'll just keep bringing them back and giving you updates.
Anything else?
That's all I had. Any other questions or concerns?
We have no unfinished business and we have no new business.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Meeting ends at 6:34.